What's going on? Welcome back to the channel. So today when I talk to you about Lucid, I want to go over some expectations for this upcoming week, what's going to cause some volatility in the stock price, and where I see things going from here. Before we get into any of that, make sure to hit that thumbs up, and with that, let's get right to it. So starting off this upcoming week, you do have a lot of big data points that have kind of the ability to really move the market. Starting off on Monday, you have manufacturing at 9 a.m. 49.8 is that current forecast. So it has been improving. I think August or September, the low was 46. So it definitely is moving in the right direction. 50 is that key point to really watch for. Anything above 50 shows more of an expansion within the broader market. Flip side, anything below 50 kind of shows more of a contraction. China just had data, this same data like last week, and expectations was like 48 and it came in at like just over 50. So it is fair to assume like anything is possible, so that definitely is going to shake the market. Then you have Tuesday jolt numbers, and that's exactly what Powell did state, the type of data that they're going to be really monitoring. Forecast currently is 7.8, so that's going to be coming out at 9 a.m. Wednesday, a lot of Fed speakers. Thursday, same old, so initial jobless claims. And then Friday, non-farm payroll and unemployment. So a lot of big things going to potentially move the market, even companies unveiling their earnings. So you have Palantir and also AMD on Monday and Tuesday, and potentially what they give for future guidance that could really affect the AI/tech sector. And I think Lucid somewhat has been kind of loosely following and trading with that tech sector a little bit, only because of what Peter's been stating is that they're a tech kind of company rather than a automotive. But one thing as well that I wanted to kind of talk on, that we left Friday at the edge of our seat wondering what the hell is happening, but tariffs. I think in general, a lot of people are starting to get very, very anxious about the tariffs. And I believe Canada and Mexico have already snapped back with some potential retaliation steps. I don't think anything has been solidified yet, but this is pretty much the same scenario that played out back from the dirty 30s. I know way before a majority of your individuals' time, but it's literally, that's what it started out as. Just essentially a lot of tariffs were placed in thoughts that people would be moving into the states and move businesses to the states, and that would thrive. But a lot of countries retaliated, and then ultimately everyone lost. So yeah, that I think a lot of people are somewhat cautiously worried about that. You see the crypto market not crazy selling off, but you do see it pulling back and very, very low volume. So definitely you always want to look at cryptocurrency as people's appetite for risk. So I think in general there's just a lot of people worried, and rightfully so. So let me know your thoughts on that. So basically that's what's really going to affect the broader market, and through that Lucid. Specific to Lucid though, these are kind of the upcoming events. So for this upcoming week, it looks like it's going to be in the Yorkdale studio, the Gravity, and then it's going to be participating in the Washington DC Auto Show. I don't believe I've seen any posts from Lucid itself about that, so I don't know if it's going to be the Air and also the Gravity or what combination, but I think in general Lucid's getting so close to their earnings. You can kind of hopefully taste the Gravity, just the optimism from that. So again, that'll be coming in the next little bit. One thing I do want to bring up, it was just posted, was this, and actually 𝗖𝗪𝗡𝗡𝗘𝗖𝗧 posted it himself, which is kind of random. I think this is kind of like a one-off, but this is going to be between February the 9th and the 12th. I'm just bringing this up, even though essentially it's not this week, it's going to be the following, but I guess it's new information. So aside from all that fun stuff going into this upcoming week, 23.33% of the free float is being shorted. Works out to be 278 million shares overall are being shorted. Just did a top 5 most heavily shorted EV stock video under Financial Journey. Lucid, yours truly, is number 2. Spoiler alert. But anyways, as far as that, I feel like shorts will be very active this week based on pretty much all the data points that's out there. So it is going to be a very volatile one. And in Lucid's case, there's one key thing that really needs to hold. So I'll kind of talk on that. But as far as looking forward, this is all the open interest. So with it closing below $3. Regrettably, that means pretty much majority of all the options did expire worthless. For this upcoming week, you have 3,000 at that 250, 16,000 at that 3. So market makers and shorts will have a little bit of a financial interest to ensure that Lucid does close below $3. So if it does gain some momentum, you'll see it possibly struggling around that $3 range. But as of right now, with it at $2.78, it is trading between this pivot and this S1. So 287 is going to be that next strong target slash resistance. Kind of made a run for it a little bit, but didn't really have enough to get above that on Friday. 231 will be the next strong support. Moving over here, no new analyst ratings, nothing along those lines, but on the actual chart itself, I'll let that load. Okay, so on the actual chart itself, there's an absolutely make it or break it point with Lucid. And I've mentioned this many times. I've been covering Lucid since like 2021, way too long. But that 50-day moving average, whenever it does break above it, then yeah, historically it does go on like a 30-40% run, as what happened recently. Similar happens when it breaks below that. So right now, and I guess on Friday, it did bounce off of that. So $2.67, that's that 50-day moving average, as well as 262. That is that super trend indicator. So essentially, if it does break below those points for 2 consecutive trading days, then this is where you could see a little bit of a pullback. But if we kind of look a little bit closer, luckily enough, in Lucid's case, it did bounce off of that I believe 3 times over the last 2 weeks. So it's tested so far very strong, but once again, with all the fear, possibly negative data coming out, this is where you could see possibly it breaking below that. And once again, if it does break below that, then this is where essentially you could see kind of back over here for a second, maybe trading on the low end of 230, if not a little bit lower than that. So it is going to be an interesting week for not just with Lucid, but across the board. A lot of stocks are in this exact same scenario as Lucid, hovering right above their 50-day moving average. But let me know your thoughts on Lucid. I think given all the recent updates from Lucid itself, I think just sometimes the stock price doesn't always correlate with what happens operationally. So if you're thinking bigger picture, then take advantage, buy the dip, do what you need to do. But definitely it looks as though it is going to be a fun week. So what is your thoughts on Lucid? Where do you see things going? Do you think it's going to be potentially pulling back to, let's say, around that 230 range? Or do you think it's going to have a nice push higher, move towards that $3 range? What do you think is coming next? Don't forget to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. Hopefully everyone's having an amazing weekend thus far. One final thing, pop over to my Patreon where I give buy signals on stocks, options, and crypto. Many of them have been absolute bangers, and I just put out my targets for pretty much the top 10 most popular, I guess, stocks that are unveiling their earnings this week. So I gave my predictions for that, how you can play them through options. So definitely worthwhile to go over there and take a look. With all that, appreciate all of you watching.